Very good afternoon to everyone. Welcome back again to the microprocessor and microcontrollers subject code 15CS44. This is module 5 that we are discussing. The topic is Introduction to ARM Instruction Set, and this is our second lecture. This is module 5 syllabus. We have done the discussion on this yesterday. What we have discussed yesterday, ARM7 TDMI family of processors in ARM state belonging to ARM architecture version 4T. This is the instruction set that we are discussing. And general ARM instruction syntax is as follows: label followed by instruction, CC condition, yes suffix yes for updating CPSR registers, operand destination, operand source 1, operand source 2 with the barrel shifter operation. Anything that we have shown in the flower bracket are optional. One such example is add EQS RD, RN, RM, LSL #2. Here RD, RN and RM can be any general purpose registers from R0 to R14 or 15. After that, we have discussed the classification of instructions. In that, there were 7 types of instructions in ARM. First one is data processing instruction. In data processing instruction, we have done the discussion on data movement instructions and arithmetic instruction in the previous class. Today we will discuss on the remaining 3 types in the data processing instruction, that is logical instructions, comparison instructions, multiply instructions, and then we will go for branch instructions, and then like program status register instructions. So this is a topic of discussion for today. Let's start with logical instructions. Logical instructions follow the standard syntax, that is instruction. After that, there is a followed by condition, then the suffix yes, RD, RN, N. Here suffix yes stands for updating the CPSR. Unlike any other processor, in ARM processors, ARM processors, suffix S is required even for logical instructions so that it can update, the result can get affected to the CPSR registers. Here the last letter N indicates the barrel shifter operation resultant register or resultant value. Most of these instructions are bitwise logical operations. There are 4 logical instructions. First one and then OR. ORR stands for OR operation. EOR stands for logical XOR operation. BIC stands for logical bit clear. We will see this with example in the next slide. Before that, just look at the syntax. And RD, RN, N, that's a standard syntax mostly. ORR, RD, RN, N. EOR, RD, RN, N. BIC, RD, RN, N. It is the standard syntax mostly in the ARM processors. The operation for AND, OR, XOR and bitwise bit clear are shown in the last column of the table. Hope this is clear. Please observe the last column. It says that is for bit clear. Bit clear is logical bit clear. RD equal to RN ampersand 1's complement of N. This ampersand is a logical AND operation. Let's look at this instructions with examples in the next slide. Here are the next slide. This slide is pretty much simple and direct, that is AND, OR and XOR operation examples. We have taken an example of R2 here, see to the example 1. This is before the execution of an instruction. R2 holds 0, R1 holds 1, R0 holds F. The AND R2, R1, R0, if this instruction is executed, then content of R0 is and content of R1 is ANDed with content of R0. The result is stored in R2. after the execution of this instruction, you can see the result here. It's an AND operation. Please remember this is an AND operation. R2 resultant register holds 1, logic 1. R1 register holds 1. R1 and R0 preserves its own original values. The resultant register R2 holds logic 1. That is, it is ANDed with F. So, last bit or LSB of the R0 and R1 are 1, 1. That's why like R2 holds 1. The remaining bits has for AND both A and both the bits has to be 1, 1. Hope you are clear with this point. That's why it R2 equal to 0, 0, 1. For OR, the same examples we have taken. The example 2, see to the example 2. Before the execution of instruction, R2 is 0, R1 is 1 and R0 is F. When this instruction is executed, ORR, R2, R1, R0, content of R1 is logically ORed with content of R0. The result is stored in R2. When this happens, like the basic OR gate operation, any one of the input is 1, then the output is 1. In such a case, the resultant of this R0 and R1 content, that is F and 1, is F. The F is stored in register R2. Example 3 goes with an XOR operation, XOR, sorry, this is a slight mistake in the present slide. It has to be EOR, not XOR, it has to be EOR. EOR R2, R1, R0. Before the execution of instruction, it is the same values as the example 1 and example 2. Once this instruction is executed, you have to know that like XOR operation is a operation wherein which the bit has to be opposite. That means if one bit is 0, the another bit is 1, then the result is 1. In considering that, in this case, if it is 1 XORed with F will give you the result E, because LSB of this XOR operation or this register content is 1 and 1. R1 LSB is 1, R0 LSB is 1. Hence, when we do XOR on the R1 and R0, the result is E, because LSB of both the register is 1, 1. So, LSB of the resultant register holds 0 value. Hope this is clear. This will be very clear, or like this is example with a understanding of basic logic gate operations. Let's see to the next one, that is bit clear. This is slightly twisted one. We'll see to the examples. Example 4 in here indicates before the execution of instruction, the content of R2 and R1 or R0 are same as the previous examples. BIC R2, R1, R0. Let me remind you, it is R0 is once complemented, then like ANDed with R1, the result is stored in R2. In here, let's look at the board for a minute. Here the content of R0 is 0x seven zeros followed by F. If I take a ones complement of this, it is 7F followed by 0, then ANDed with content of R1. R1 is 7 zeros followed by 1. If you look at this, when you do logic AND on this, the result is nothing but like 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 because of logical AND operation. This example is taken to show that BIC instruction, logical bit clear instruction, does this operation that like it takes ones complement of R0 and then ANDs with the content of R1. The resultant of this is 0. The resultant of this is 0 because R0 holds the LS lower nibble as 0. Now just see to the next example, that is example 5. The same example with S as a suffix. You all of us were very clear by this time that if we add suffix S, that means it will affect the CPSR flag. If we don't add suffix S, it will not affect the CPSR flag. This example 5 is taken to show that the result is same as in the case of example 4, but the Z flag in here is 1 to indicate the result is 0. If we do not add S, the Z will be 0. That is, it is by default it will be 0. Right. Next one. Next we will take on one more example with OR and XOR instruction with the barrel shifter operation. So again with the example 6, look at the example 6. Before the execution of instruction, R2, R1, R0 content are same as the previous examples. The instruction here is ORR, R2, R1, R0, LSL #1, that is logical shift by one position. What is that we are logical shifting? The content of R0. Content of R0 is logical left shifted by one position. Then it is OR with R1. Again, in this case it is F. If we logical shift left by one position, the content of or resultant of this operation, that is R0, LSL #1 is 1E. 1E. When we OR the content of 1E with 1, the result will be 1F. Hope you are clear on this point. And again, like R1 and R0 retains the original value. Similarly, if we take the next example, that is now in this example 6, XOR operation is written properly. That is EOR, R2, R1, R0, LSL #1. Before the execution of this instruction, the register contents are same as the previous examples content. After the execution of this instruction, it is logical shift left of R0 content is again like F shifted by one position on left will result into 1E. 1E ANDed with 1 should result into 1F, or 1E ANDed with 1E XORed 1E XORed with 1 will result into 1F. That's operation. So in example 6 and example 7, for the contents that we have taken before the execution of instruction, the result will be same whenever, even though the instruction is OR instruction or XOR instruction. This can be again analyzed with the basic knowledge of the XOR and OR operations. Done? Right. That's about the logical instruction. Now let's move to the comparison instruction. The comparison instruction is first time we are encountering something different from the standard or a general ARM syntax, ARM instruction syntax. What is that? What do you mean by that? Comparison instructions do not have a destination register, or I can say this way: comparison instruction, for a comparison instructions, the destination register is CPSR by itself. It does not have a destination register in the instruction. So what is the general syntax of the comparison instruction? Instruction, condition, Rn, n. Again, n is a barrel shifter processed value, or it can be an immediate value, or the register directly, or Rn is a just directly taken content. In here, again there are 4 instructions: CMP, CMN, TST, TEQ. 4 instructions are there. This is nothing but like CMP stands for compare, CMN stands for compare negate, TST stands for test bitwise, TEQ stands for test for equality. Now in this case, please observe the operation. The comparison in most of the processors, not only in this processor or ARM processor, comparison in most of the processors is done using an subtraction operation. That is, in this case, if this instruction is CMP Rn, n, then the operation is Rn minus n. The resultant of this operation is updated to the CPSR flags. There is no resultant or like destination register in here. Similarly, for CMN, Rn comma n, the operation is Rn plus n. It is Rn minus of minus n, that is Rn plus n. TST Rn comma n, in this test bits, like our description is test bits, look at the operation Rn ANDed with n. We are just checking whether the particular bit in a register Rn is set or not, or set or clear with a value of n. TEQ Rn comma n, test for equality. This instruction is for test for equality. We all know that XOR operation will give you the result for equal condition or compare test for equality condition. That is, whenever the every bit of Rn is same as the every bit of n, the result will be 0. That means CPSR Z flag will be 1. Look at the last line here. Comparison instructions updates CPSR only without affecting the register content, and these can be used as a used in a conditional execution. So, before executing any instruction with a conditional suffix, which can use a comparison instruction to generate that condition. Look at the one more statement on top. TST is a logical AND operation and TEQ is a logical XOR operation. The only difference between the logical instruction and the comparison instruction in this case is they do not have resultant or destination register. They just update the result to the CPSR flags. We'll look at the examples of this. Now, with the example, look at the example 1. Before execution of the instruction, R1 content is 4, R0 content is 3. CPSR flags are all the NZCV written in a small letter indicates all of them are 0, all of them are equal to 0. Now, when we compare R1 with R0, what CMP R1 with R0, after the execution of this instruction, the CPSR carry flag will set. How? What exactly happens is R1, that is 4, minus R0, that is 3, minus R, that is 4 minus 3 is done in ARM processors by taking the 2's complement of 3. I will just use the board for this again. 0, 0, 1, 1 is 3. If I take the 1's complement of this, it is this is 1's complement of this. One's complement of 3. Then I have to do the 2's complement. By doing this, I am taking a 2's complement value. So what is the answer? 1101. Right. Now this 1101 is, I have taken a single nibble. If I have to take the full register, it is R0 value is 0x F 4F for the 7F followed by this value. What is this value? 8 plus 4, 12 plus 1, 13, that is D. Now this D, this value indicates R0 equal to minus 3. Right. Now when we do this CMP R1 comma R0, what happens is R1 minus R0, that's nothing but, now this is a minus R0 value, that's nothing but R1 plus of minus 3. So minus 3 value is 7F's followed by D. For this I need to add the content of R1. R1 content is 4. If I add FD, E, F, 0, 1. When it overflows from, when I do add 4, then it overflows to the carry set to 1. Hope this is clear. When we add this minus 3 with 4, that 4 is the R1 content, then we will get the resultant carry as 1. Please do it by yourself, it will be more clear. The second example, example 2. In example 2, it is the contents of R1 and R0 are same, that is 4 and 3. The CPSR contents are NZCV, flags are 0, 0, 0, all are set to 0, 0. The instruction is CMN, R1, R0, compare, negate. In the previous case it was R1 minus R0, in this case it is R1 plus R0. After the execution of this instruction, all the flags, that is NZCV, are still 0, because there is no carry generated out of this addition of this two values. 4 plus 3 is 7. So with this result, no carry, no Z, no negative, no overflow flag is affected. So the CPSR register, all the values are still 0 as it is. Look at the example 3. Example 3 is for TST instruction. R1 is again, it is the same as a previous example. R1 and R0 contents are 4 and 3. CPSR flags by default, they are all zeros. NZCV flags are zeros. TST R1, R0, that is TST, if you remember from the previous slide, TST is nothing but a logical AND operation. So when we do logical AND on 4 and 3 content, that is logical AND with 4 and 3, the resultant value will be 0. That's where the CPSR Z flag will be set. This is indicated by Z in the capital. After the execution of this instruction, the CPSR Z flag is updated. This is indicated using a capital Z with a blue color in this case. And again R1 and R0 contents are not changed. Let's look at the next instruction, TEQ instruction. This is an example 4. Example 4, TEQ instruction is test for equality. If you remember it again, like it is nothing but an XOR operation, logical XOR operation. Now R1 and R0 content, that is 3 and 4. When we do XOR on 3 and 4, the result would be 7. So that 7 has no effect on any of this flag. Hence, after the execution of this instruction, there is NZCV flags are still the same as the previous, or like before the execution of instruction. That is, status of NZCV flags is same as the before the execution of this instruction. Look at the example 5. Example 5 shows that TEQ, test for equality, with a barrel shifter operation, that is R1, R0, LSL hash 1. LSL hash 1 logical shift left on R0 content, that is 2. So 2 is left shifted by 1 position. If you remember from the yesterday's discussion, logical left shift by 1 position is nothing but multiply by 2. So R0 content is 2, 2 multiplied by 2 is 4. 4 now need to be XORed, we have to do XOR operation with the content of R1. Content of R1 is also 4. So both the content are now 4 and 4. That's where when we do the TEQ or XOR operation, CPSR Z flag is affected. That means the result of this execution is the 0. That's where the Z flag is set to 1. Now, the next line of instructions is multiply instructions. What we have to understand before going to multiply instruction is, there are two very important points that we need to understand. First, multiply instructions are executed with the help of MAC unit, multiply and accumulate unit. They are not executed with the help of ALU. That's where the barrel shifter will not come into picture. That's what this first statement says. What is it says? Multiply instructions uses MAC unit, hence they are not associated with the barrel shifter operation. Hope this is clear. By the diagram, it's more clear. The second operation says here, the operands has to be in the register. Whatever the operand that we use for the multiply instruction, they have to be in the register. That is, what is the meaning of this? That is, immediate operands are not accepted. Like in the previous all the examples, immediate operands are accepted. In this multiply instructions, the immediate operands are not accepted. So whatever we want to do a multiplication of value, that value has to be in one of the register. Right? Next one. There are different instructions in the multiply. There are totally 6 instructions. In that, we will discuss a couple of instruction first, and then like another couple, then like we will take the another 2 instructions. This instruction is for a 32-bit resultant operation. Before going to the multiply instruction, let me put a very clear point here. Multiplication of 2 32-bit values can be more than 32-bit. To handle that, there are different instructions. If your result is expected to be 32-bit, then use these 2 instructions. If the result is more than 32-bit, what we have to do, we will see in the next slides. So in this case, I expect the result to be a maximum of 32-bit. That is why I have an instruction MUL followed by condition followed by RD, RM, RN. There is another instruction MLA. MUL for multiply. MLA is for multiply and accumulate. MLA condition RD, RM, RN, RS. We will see this with the table. See to the table now. The first instruction MUL, the syntax is MUL, RD, RM, RN. The operation description for this is a multiply. This is a multiply instruction. Operation, what exactly happens here? RD equal to RM multiplied by RN. RM multiplied by RN, resultant is stored in the RD. Next instruction is MLA, that is multiply and see to the description, multiply and accumulate. Syntax for this is MLA, RD, RN, RS. See to the operation now. Operation is RD equal to RM into RN plus RS. See to the operation again, RD equal to RM into RN plus RS. We will see this with an examples in the next slide. MUL instruction and MLA instruction, example 1. In the example 1, you can see the before the execution of instruction, the content of register R2 is 0, R1 is 4, R0 is 3. Then like instruction is multiply R2, R1, R0. After the execution of this instruction, the resultant register R2 holds C. C in the hexadecimal is 12 in the decimal value. That is 4 cross 3 is 12. R1, there is again a slight misinformation here. The R1 and R0 register content has to be the same as the previous content, that is 4 and 3. It should remain with 4 and 3 only. It should not change. This is typing mistake. Now see to the example 2. In example 2, R3 here is 0, R2 is 3, R1 is 4 and R0 is 2. The instruction is this is a register content before the execution of instruction. After the execution of instruction, MLA R3, R2, R1, R0. In this case, what happens is result of this thing, that is R2 is multiplied by R1, that is 4 cross 3 is 12, 12 is C. Then it is added with content of R0, R0 is 2, C, D, E. So that is the result that is stored in R3. R3 is a resultants register. Hope this is clear. Please note that it is a multiplication between R2 and R1. That is content of R2 is 4, content of R1 is content of R2 is 3, content of R1 is 4. The result is 12. That 12 is hexadecimal. In the hexadecimal, the BCD it is 12. In hexadecimal it is C. C is added with R0, R0 is 2, R0 content is 2, C, D, E. That's where the resultant register R3 holds E as an value. The rest of the registers should hold the same value before the execution of instruction. Whatever the value was there, it has to hold the same instruction. If there is any other instruction, it is just a typing mistake. Any other value here, it is just typing mistake. Please neglect it. Right. Next instruction. As I mentioned in the beginning of the discussion for a multiply instruction, the multiplication of two 32-bit values can go up to or beyond 32-bit for such kind of operations. If a programmer or a developer expects that like result could go beyond 32-bit, then it is suggested to use these two instructions, and these two instructions are in particular are like they focus on unsigned multiplication. What are these two instructions? UMULL condition RDLO RDHI, that is destination register lower register, destination register higher register, RM, RN. That means destination register lower and higher together forms a 64-bit value. Similarly, UMLAL condition RDLO, RDHI, RM, RN. We will see these instructions in the table again with a little bit more description. The instruction is UMUL, that is, this syntax is same as the one we have shown here. UMULL RDLO, RDHI, RM, RN. The description is unsigned multiply long. Please note this. UMULL, the description for that instruction is unsigned multiply long. Operation here RDHI, RDLO holds the result of multiplication between RM and RN. Similarly, look at the second example. UMLAL instruction, that is, syntax for this is UMLAL RDLO, RDHI, RM, RN. Description for this is unsigned multiply and accumulate long value. Operation here RDHI, RDLO is equal to RDHI, RDLO plus RM into RN. Let's look at the examples for these two instructions. Okay. Before looking at the examples, let's see what is a calculation behind the what is the calculation that goes behind it. See to this thing. If we assume the content of R3 as 3 and R2 as 0, R1 as F2, please observe this, it is 0x F followed by 6 zeros and then 2. R0 content is 0, just 2 value. If I use an instruction UMULL R3, R2, R1, R0, what happens in here is content of R0 is multiplied with content of R1, that is 0x F followed by 6 zeros and 2 is multiplied by 2. The result of this is a 9-bit value. The result of this is the result of this is more than 32-bit. The result of multiplication of content of R1 and R2 is more than 32-bit. Hence, we require 2 registers to hold the result. Those registers are R3 and R2. Look at the next example or a continuation of this. R1 multiplied with R0. In the previous case, whatever the result we got, that is 0x 1e followed by 6 zeros and then 4. Now, this has to be added to the content of R3, R2. The content of R3, R2, it is 0x0003. In this case, R3 forms the lower 32-bit value, R2 forms the higher 32-bit value. Together, R3 and R2 forms the 64-bit value. Once we need to, for the instruction, UMLAL R3, R2, R1, R0. We have to add, see to this description and here, R3, R2, that is 3, has to be added with multiplication result of R1, R0. If we add that, that is 4 plus 3 will get added, and then like result will be 7. The total result will be 0x1e followed by 1e followed by 6 zeros and the 7. Hope this is clear. Now the same thing is shown in the examples here. This is a register content before the execution of the instruction. R3 holds 0, R2 holds 0, R1 is 0x followed by 6 zeros and 2. R0 holds just 2 as a value. Once we multiply, use the instruction UMULL R3, R2, R1, R0. If we multiply R1 content with R2 content, we are going to get the result as 1E followed by 6 zeros and the F4. This result, this result, how it is stored? R2 holds the higher, see to this thing actually, R2 holds the higher 32-bit value, R3 holds the lower 32-bit value. This is the only thing that we need to remember in this, that is, in the instruction, the second destination will be the the second destination register holds the upper 32-bit value. This is the point that we have to remember in these instructions. Right? The rest of the content, R1 and R2 contents are same as a before the execution of instruction. If it is something else, again it is a typing error. Example 4, before the execution of instruction, R3 value is 3, R2 value is 0, R1 value is 0x followed by 6 zeros and 2, R0 value is 2. If we execute the instruction, in such a case, if we execute the instruction UMLAL R3, R2, R1, R0, what happens is it multiplies the content of R0 and R1, then adds the result with the R3, R2 together. In this case, R3 forms the lower 32-bit value. If we add that with this previous result, it will be 7. In total, it will be 1E followed by 6 zeros and the 7. Lower 32-bit values are held in the register R3. Upper 32-bit values are held in the register R2. The remaining values of R1 and R2 should be the same as previous. Again, to note in here, this case also, if there is anything as a different value, it is just a typing mistake. Multiply instruction again. Whatever we have discussed till now, it is just about a unsigned multiply long. In this slide, we are showing it's the same operation, but it is considering a sign bit. So rest of all the procedure and the instruction and the format and the syntax are same, but provided it is a signed multiply long and signed multiply and accumulate long. That's the only difference between the unsigned, the discussion that we have done in the previous slide and this slide. The rest of the things should follow as it is. So what we do, we will go to the next slide to understand the further instructions. The next instruction set is a branch instruction. Branch instructions are one of the most important instructions. In this, again, like look at the syntax: instruction followed by condition and then label. Label, or it can also be, in some of the examples, it can also be RM, register value. We will come to that point. What is exactly branch instruction does? Branch instruction alter the execution of execution flow. If there is all of us, we know that like in microcontroller or in any programming that we do on the ARM or any other, most of the processors, until and unless it is a multi-core processor, when it is a single core processor, every instruction is executed sequentially. If we have to break the sequence and execute some other instruction, we need a branch instruction. There are 4 branch instructions in the ARM processors. That is B, BL, BX and BLX. Instruction B, syntax for instruction B is B space label. The description is just a branch instruction. It takes a branch to that label. What exactly happens in the operation? PC value will be the label value. The label is copied to PC. Second instruction is BL. BL is syntax is BL label. In the description here is branch with link. BL stands for branch with link. What happens in here? Before PC getting the value of label, as in the case of previous one, PC value will be stored in the LR. LR is a link register. PC value will be stored in LR, and then PC gets the value of label, right? So this is a instruction that helps to write a function or a subroutine in a assembly program or ARM assembly program. Next instruction is BX. BX the syntax for this is BX space RM. The description is branch exchange. This is for BX stands for branch exchange. What happens in the operation? PC equal to RM ANDed with 0x F followed by 7F followed by E, and then that is a PC value. T is LSB of the RM is ANDed with the 1 here. That is, if we want to change the processor state from ARM to thumb, then we should use our thumb to ARM. Then it is suggested to use the instructions, some instruction BX or BLX. We will see to this description in the next slide. Right now we will see to the syntax, continue seeing the syntaxes. BLX stands for branch exchange with link. The syntax for it is BLX space RM. What exactly happens? LR register holds the current PC value. The PC value is updated with RM ANDed with 0x 7Fs followed by E, and T is the thumb flag in the CPSR register, holds the value RM ANDed with 1. We will see this with a little bit more description in the next slide. What is this says? See to the first point here. B or BX instructions are similar to jump instructions, and maximum possible jump is 32 MB of space. Instruction B and BX, these two helps are very similar to jump instruction in 8086 or any other processor. Instruction BL and BLX are very similar to, observe the second one, instruction BL and BLX instructions are similar to call instructions, and hence they support the subroutine. Subroutine is a function in assembly. Once we have this BL and BLX and we have branched from the main program to the subroutine program, then like we have to return from the subroutine to the point wherever we have left in the main program. How do we do that? Return from the subroutine is done using instruction move PC, LR. There is no specific return instruction in ARM processors. Next instruction, next point, observe the next point. BX and BLX instructions are widely used to change the state of the processor from ARM to thumb and vice versa. If we want to change the state of the processor from thumb to ARM or ARM to thumb, then we should use the instruction BX and BLX. Last point, BLX instruction also supports label as a operand. What is that? Example, BLX label. One example is in here, example here, R0, if R0 is 1, all this NZCV flags are 0, 0 and T is also 0. All small letter indicates the value of this flags is 0. In such a case, if we use the instruction BX R0, after the execution of this instruction, please observe CPSR NZCV flags are all 0, but T thumb flag is set to 1. That means the processor has changed. After the execution of this instruction, processor has changed its state from ARM state to the thumb state. So to conclude over the branch instruction, there are 4 branch instructions. B and BL, BX and BLX. BX and BLX are used for processor state changing. B and BL instructions are used for branching. B is used for branch in particular or jump. It is very similar to jump instruction in other processor. BL is branch with link. It is very similar to the call instruction in other processors. That helps in implementation of subroutines or functions. Right. Last one, program status register instructions. In this, syntax for this is program status register instruction. Syntax for this is instruction, condition, RD, CPSR or SPSR. These are the instructions which helps us to read or write, to do the read or write operation on CPSR or SPSR register. Hope the CPSR and SPSR value or the meaning or the knowledge about CPSR and SPSR is very clear. CPSR is current program status register. SPSR is saved program status register. There are 2 instructions in program status register instructions. One is MRS. MRS syntax for this is MRS RD, CPSR. What it does, it copies the CPSR content to one of the general purpose register. You can see the same thing in the operation. It copies the content of CPSR to the RD. The another instruction is MSR. The syntax for this is MSR underscore field. Please note this, MSR underscore F. What is this? We'll discuss in the next slide. Right now you just know that like the syntax is like this, MSR space CPSR underscore F, RD. This is to copy the content of GPR to the CPSR field. In this, the operation is one of the field. We'll see like what is the field means. In this, the operation is CPSR underscore F equal to RD. Let's go to the examples of MRS and MSR. Okay, before going to the examples, let's look at what is the CPSR value or what is the CPSR register. Here is the CPSR register. CPSR register is current program status register. It is of 32-bit in length. It has 4 fields in itself, that is CPSR underscore F stands for CPSR underscore flags. CPSR underscore F stands for flags. This is from bit 24 to 31, that is highest byte of the CPSR register. Then like we have CPSR underscore S. CPSR underscore S stands for CPSR underscore status. These are status flags, that is bit 16 to bit 23. CPSR underscore E stands for extension flags, that is from bit 8 to bit 15. CPSR underscore C stands for CPSR underscore control. CPSR underscore C stands for control flags or control flags, that is from 0 to bit to 7th bit of the CPSR register. Now on reset, this is the information that we should know. On reset, processor mode, by default the processor mode is supervisory mode, and supervisory mode has this bit values, that is 1, 00 and 11. Processor state, on reset, processor state by default is ARM state, that means T flag will be 0. On reset, interrupts will be disabled, that is I and F flag is equal to 1. Hence, CPSR underscore C, that is control field of the CPSR register, the value of that is 1101, that this 11 represents upper 2 nibbles, this 11 upper 2 digits 11 represents the interrupt flag I and F, they are disabled. Next bit 0 indicates the T flag is 0, that is in ARM state. The next 5 bits indicates the supervisory mode. Altogether this byte value is D3. Hence by default or on reset, CPSR value will be D3. This is a very important information that we should know. The conclusion of this slide, CPSR by default value is D3. Right. Now we'll go to the examples of this thing. In the example 1, before the execution of the instruction, R3 is 0 and the CPSR is D3. Now all of you know why the CPSR is D3. MRS R0, CPSR, content of CPSR has to be copied to R0. After the execution of this instruction, R0 holds the D3 value, CPSR holds the D3 value as it is, or the value D3. Example 2, example 2, that R3 value is 0xF followed by 7 zeros. CPSR is value is D3. In such a case, if we use the instruction MSR, CPSR underscore F, all of you know by this time it is a underscore F stands for flags, that is higher byte in the 32-bit CPSR register. Now copy the content of R0 to this field, this field, then the result will be CPSR equal to 0xF followed by 5 zeros D3. The R0 value will remain as it is, but CPSR will update. What do you mean by this? The F is a highest possible nibble having all 4 ones. That 4 ones are transferred to the highest possible bits of CPSR, that is NZCV flag. All the flags have become 1 now in this example. Now see to the last point here. MSR instruction also supports an immediate value, and writing to this means in place of R0 it can be hash some immediate value, and writing to CPSR is possible in privileged modes only. So MSR instruction can be executed in the privileged modes only. It cannot be executed in the user mode. Right. So what we have studied in the, or what we have studied in this lecture, we have studied a logical instruction syntax and types of logical instructions and the usage of them. We have studied about the comparison instruction and the syntax of them and the types and the what types of comparison instructions are there, then their usage. Multiplication instructions, syntax, types and usage. Branch instruction and subroutine instruction. Subroutine is, hope you remember, BL and BLX will help us to implement the subroutines. We have also studied program status register instruction, syntax, types and usage. This is what we have studied in the today's class or today's lecture. In this week, that previous lecture and today's lecture together, now we are now we should be comfortable with ARM instructions syntax, classification of ARM instructions, data processing instruction, branch instruction and program status register instructions. Thank you for lecture. If there is any question, these are my contact details. Thank you so much.